Okay, Epilogue 2, my first actual proper cook on the smoker. Let me show you the arrangement of my probes. So there's the fire. So the white one there is number 1, let's say, and purple one is number 2, and then the red one is number 3. And kind of like Jeremy Yoder's solution offset, this left-hand one was the hottest, this one was middle, and that was the coolest, actually, even though it's right there next to the fire. Okay, so after leaving the door closed for a little bit, you can see that this first number to the upper left, that's the one that's on the stack side, and then 320 is the middle one, and 286 is the one that's closer to the firebox. And I've also closed this up a little bit to starve the, if it were possible, starve the fire of oxygen. But of course there's big huge holes in here, so this is burning well. Okay, I've closed the damper on it a tiny bit. Here is I reconfigured where I had them plugged in. These two channels can be set for barbecue, which means they have both a low and a high indication. If it gets too hot, it beeps. If it gets too cold, it beeps. And so I'm using those two now for the extremes. So right now this number is the stack side, 284 is the firebox side, and 302 is the one in the middle. And here's what the fire looks like currently, just FYI. Yeah, I'll start off the chicken, just kind of there in the middle, and then at some point, you know, when I dial up the temperatures to finish the chicken and to try to crisp up the skin and render the fat on it, then I'll stick biscuits in various places. This is interesting. Just 1 minute ago, this one, the two bottom ones were reading 277 and 259, and I went over to the damper and just closed down on the stack a whole bunch, and so now they're both lower and closer together. Okay, here we go. Chicken thighs, bone in, skin on, salt and pepper, nothing more. Interestingly, the handle gets hot, but not so hot that I can't move it. Got ash here on the grate. I'm gonna just stick them in there like that. I'll move them later when I put in the biscuits. Temperatures on the firebox side were getting really low, so I put another big split on it, and it lit up, so I went ahead and closed this door. It's a little hot, and kept the damper closed, so it's nice and smoky in there, maybe a bit too smoky, but I'm trying to keep the temperatures kind of contained, so it's already starting to rise back up. Okay, it's 6 o'clock now. Chicken's been on for 50 minutes. Let's have a look and see what's going on. There you go. Stuff is getting some color on it. It's getting a lot of smoke, obviously, but there's still open flame in there. Okay, it's 6:24, something like that. It's been over an hour that these things have been on. And so certainly these things have gotten enough smoke on them. Got some nice color, a little bit. And I think what I'm going to do now is just crank up the heat and open the stack and see what happens. So let's just do that right now, wide open, and close this back up. I'm going to leave those right where they are. Okay, it is now 6:30, so something like an hour and 20 minutes after I put them on. I'm going to put biscuits on there that I'm guessing no one will want to eat, because I imagine they end up tasting like ashtrays after this sort of thing. But the thought occurs to me that a biscuit test, and maybe this is true for anybody who does it, is really kind of horrible, because you've got to crank up the temperature, which means opening the stack, which means increasing any differences in temperature that there are across the grate. So I'm surely going to have, you know, once this thing comes up to temperature, I'm going to have 400 degrees on this side, and then like 350 maybe on this side. So there's got to be at least a 50 degree differential, I'm pretty sure. And it strikes me that that's not an accurate test of how well your smoker works, because what you're concerned about is the low and slow part of it usually. So you would need a biscuit that could be cooked at 225 degrees for 30 minutes rather than one that cooks at 400 degrees for 10. Anyway, we've got us a good fire going on in here, and not a lot of visible smoke coming out of the stack. Okay, I'm tempted to rotate the chicken, but I don't think there's any real reason to do that. So I'm just going to stick this stuff on, if I can figure it out, if I can make it not explode too badly. There you go. It exploded like normal. And then there's 10 of these, and I'll put 5 of them per side. I think I'm going to try 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these are the ones that are going to cook the fastest, probably. 1, 2, and 3. Now, in a 400 degree oven, it needs to be at 400 for 10 minutes. But the thought occurs to me that this thing functions more like a convection oven. But if you stuck a convection oven on at 400 degrees, I'm pretty sure it would just turn any normal biscuit dough into ash. But we'll see. I'm not going to bother probably sticking a one of the instant read probes into the chicken. I figure after over an hour of smoking and then me cranking this up to 300 and something for a while, it'll just be done. The 2 probes are at like 302 and 243, which is a huge difference and obviously a lot hotter than it was, but not as hot as I wanted it, so I'm putting on one more split. Current temperatures in there, you can see there's almost 100 degree difference. At any rate, right now I've got a mixture of lemon juice and butter, and I actually put a little honey in there just to keep things interesting. I'm just gonna baste the chicken thighs a little tiny bit. I guess I can do this. One of the things I'm missing around now is a table around here that I could put my cutting board on so I could retrieve the meat and then put it on here. This shelf is obviously not big enough, and the firebox is warm enough to where this lemon butter mixture is starting to boil. So maybe a bit too hot for the rubber feet on my cutting board. Okay, I figure I'd at least let you see the biscuits. These one closer to the firebox saw more direct heat, I think. And so those browned more, but they're all brown. They all seem kind of like they're done. Anyway, I'm taking off this meat, which is darker looking in real life than it is on my video screen. I have no idea what these biscuits are going to taste like. They might be horrible, but I'm going to gather them, and they will be kind of an adornment. Hold on, direct heat going on. There's a big raging fire over there. You can't see it on camera, but it's still there. Okay, and this handle is just cool enough for me to still use it, just barely. Here's what I just took off all that. We'll see what it tastes like. So, how are the biscuits, kids?
Pretty good. I really like them.
They're actually...
If you smell them, they're very smoky, but they taste good.
Yeah, they're very smoky. But they seem to cook pretty evenly.
Wow.
Now, what I want to do, just for grins, since we can't have... We've got to split these up anyway. I want to do something I saw Jeremy Yoder do, where he took one of these and squeezed it to show that it wasn't dried out after all that. So I need to be... You need to be over here, so I can do this with my right hand. Okay, watch this. Wow, so it's hot. A little too hot for these gloves because I couldn't find my real gloves anyway, but you can see that it's juicy chicken in there. Okay, after 8 o'clock now. I don't remember when I last put on fuel. Maybe I'll flash that on the screen. Some time ago, and as you can see, I've got this thing roughly halfway closed, and there's still smoke coming out of it. Let's see if there's still flame. Oh, there is. There's active flame still in there. So I stuck on a lot of fuel, and these are the temperatures at the stack and at the firebox. Where's my finger? There's my finger. So they're close to each other. I wanted to let it equalize for 5 or 10 minutes. So they're not like right next to each other or anything, but they're not horribly different. Prices are still good here on the prime briskets. Look at this monstrosity here. 24 pounds. I mean, I could just do that one and be done with it. Wow. Okay, I've decided to get two 13-pound ones rather than one ginormous one. I've got some charcoal getting started in this chimney here. And then I built a little makeshift roof over this that's just kind of a temporary structure until I figure out how to do the real one. I'm gonna start off the fire with just these two, I guess you could call them splits, but I want to say logs. Until I manufacture some little springy steel solution that'll clip onto my grate and just keep it at the exact position. I'm just going to do this thing. Okay, it's still settling into its final temperature. I guess these are going to keep going up a little bit. But this is good for starting, so I'm going to go ahead and throw the briskets on. Yeah, right now the numbers read 237 and 223. There you go. I trimmed and seasoned these last night. Hopefully they're okay in terms of the seasoning. This one in front of me looks like it doesn't have enough pepper on it. Here we go. It's 8:38. The thought occurred to me that I wanted a little smokier at first, and also temperatures that are more evened out. So I went ahead and shut this thing down, I don't know, roughly halfway. We'll see, the temperatures are still settling in here. It's only been about 5 minutes since I started. This thing beeped at me a few minutes ago saying the temperature had exceeded 250 on the left-hand probe, and I didn't make much of it, and then a couple of minutes later it's up at like 295. So I guess what I'll do is I'll just shut this way down and see if that helps So I moved those a little closer to the actual front and back of the briskets because I'm not going to be messing with them or spraying them at all for quite some time. Okay, here's the split I'm about to add to it. Yeah, I can't see it from here so much, but there I'm already seeing some flame. So yeah, I think I'm just going to close the stack back down and see how it functions like that. See if that's the way to go. Okay, I'm still getting alarms and it's hovering around below 200. But apparently that's not quite enough for this size of a cooker. So that's good, I guess, because it means I don't have to I don't have to reduce the splits into these tiny little pieces. I'm going to throw another one on. Okay, so that didn't take too long. That really should have me going for at least half an hour, maybe more like 45 minutes. There are two things that I forgot to do with this cook. Normally I stick some of the fat trimmings in there so that they'll render and get smoky during the course of the cook. And also I usually used to stick pans of water underneath. And I don't know, it's a little late to do that now because the briskets are on there and the grates are on there. Open flame. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stick this in kind of a hot part of the fire. Hang on, I'm trying to grab it and hold the camera at the same time. All the way over there where it hopefully won't fall over the edge. So we'll see. Let's let this keep going. Alright, it's about 45 minutes later, almost 45 minutes later, at 10:34, and now it's time for me to put another split or two on there. So this is good. Okay, it's noon, about 3.5 hours into the cook. I've got too much heat on that thing anyway, so I am going to start spritzing these things down. Make sure they don't dry out. Got a mix of apple cider vinegar and apple cider in here. I put a ton of fuel in this thing the last time, so even though it's been quite a while, it's still running really hot. So I'm going to go ahead and spritz it down one more time, and I'm going to use this thing to do the instant read on it just to see where it's at, just out of curiosity. Okay, those are starting to look like briskets. Oh, centigrade. It's like, what? Okay, that was something like 145, 163. Wow, that's coming up way faster. 156, 157, whatever. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so let me spritz these a little bit. Fat's doing okay, the water's okay. Alright, okay, we're good. I'm going to rotate these things, not like fat side down, but put them where the point is towards the stack, because that seems to be the hotter side of the grill anyway. So, and let's spray these a little bit while I'm here. Yeah, I remember the other times I've done the briskets, I've just ended up getting grease and stuff on, you know, bark on the handle. It's just kind of difficult to avoid. You know, it's at this point where I realize that I don't know what I'm doing. They all say, on the internet, you know, they'll give you advice, which strikes me as sound and makes good sense, that you start off really slow with more smoke or slightly dirtier smoke maybe, but definitely more smoke and lower temperatures for the first so many hours, because that's when the meat can absorb it, and then later on you can dial up the heat to get it past the stall or to finish it. And what time is it right now? It is now almost 3 o'clock, and I put these on at about 8:30. So what does that make it? 6.5 hours? What is that? Something like that. Let's say it's 6.5 hours into it. So it's probably time for me to start dialing up the temperatures. But I don't know, you know. I guess maybe I could see. I've taken to splitting these things in half because they were too big. So maybe I should just be feeding them on a little bit more steadily and keep the temperature closer to 275. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and probe it and just see. So I'm going to put this back on here so I can do that and have a look at it. I've never gone by the information that this provides. I'm just curious. I open it up and there's all this ash all over the place. Okay, the flat is at 168. Ooh, that's tender. Wow. Yeah, the point feels really tender. 166. 167. Oh, good. I should always remember to turn this thing off when I'm filming, when I'm opening this thing. And then this is at 175-ish, 174. So I could probably stand to spritz those again. Anyway, they're looking good. Maybe after a while I'll rotate them again. I'm sure it'll be good, but there's a certain arbitrariness to a lot of the decisions, like whether to wrap or not, or how and what, and whether to do. I've never done the foil boat before. I should try that sometime. I mean, it strikes me that the bottom looks like it's getting cooked. Not crispy necessarily, but I don't know. That's one thing I'm a little concerned about, is protecting the bottom of it. See, that's looking nice and kind of dark brown, kind of burnt there. Don't want that. Let's tell you what, maybe I should go ahead and put these back around. Let me spritz them again now that I've turned them around so I have access to the other side. Well, I've done a terrible job of documenting this process because it's incremental, so at no point is some amazing thing going on. If I do this again, I need to be very intentional about just checking in every 4 hours or so. As it is right now, it's around 9 o'clock, so it's about 12 and a half hours since we started. And without proper light on them, that's what they look like. Yeah, the colors always look saturated and weird here. Anyway, they're not black. They're a nice color, I think. I don't know, I think the bark's okay. I feel like the fat is rendering to where... Ow. Of course I'm going to burn myself on it. Doing that with my bare fingers. So anyway, I'm leaving this on for just a tiny bit more, just until the logs that are on there right now are done, and then I'm gonna wrap it because I'll be letting it rest. I'll be doing a warm or a hot rest overnight, and I'm likely to actually overcook it, so I need to be careful. The worksheets. This is the first one. I'm seeing if it's functioning the right way. So I'm gonna try a bite here. That's pretty good. I think the fat rendered pretty nicely.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Oh man, that's good. Okay. Oh, that's good. Excellent. Because I was a little worried. Like, who knows how it's going to turn out. I need a bigger knife, really.
Celia's skirt was a cat.
Yeah, I'm just tearing this up. I'll have to learn how to do this more.
Is the knife not sharp or is it just too tender?
It's I don't know. I'm not sure what it is. Anyway.
One child that could ever hand me down anything, and that was it.
Okay.
Have immaculate words.
Yeah, maybe this knife isn't as sharp as it needs to be. Burnt ends, anybody? People come on through.
What did you say?
Burnt ends, anybody?
I'll just take a little side swap.
Yeah, go for it, people. There's a lot of fat on there. I need to, no, here, let me grab one of those pieces. If you're into burnt ends. People love them or hate them. But I mean, people love them generally.
That's good.
You good?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Wow, that's great. Wow. Yum. People, come on through. Don't wait. Grab it while I'm slicing it. Yeah, maybe this knife isn't as sharp as it needs to be.
Can I grab that?
Yes. Check it out. So, there you go. And so there you can see what it looks like. Pretty good. I am not complaining. Yeah, I'm tearing this up a little bit as I do it.
Guys, just grab.
Yeah, just grab. Don't wait. And these were small briskets. They had these 24-pound briskets at Costco.
Like that monster in the
24 pounds. And it's like these were 13-pound briskets.
Think about how long it would
Is
take.
there any barbecue sauce in there?
No, I'm afraid not. I'm sorry. I thought about it and we were going to stop and get some, but maybe some in the fridge. If anybody has barbecue sauce here and wants to pull it out, that's cool. Because I knew people were going to want it, but then we were running too late. And I thought about trying to make some,
No.
and then I was like, I just ran out of time.
Problem.
Yeah, this knife is not as sharp as it needs to be, so I need to sharpen it. I thought it was going to be like surgically sharp. Oh man. And I got 2 of these.
It might just be that the meat is too tender. You might try
Oh
to
yeah, but it's not that tender. It's not like I'm just melting through it. Anyway, there we go.